Today we're going to do a watercolor demonstration.
Watercolor demonstration.
All these new, beautiful, extinct cobalts. And over here we've actually got a little manganese impression going too. But we're going to let Madelyne Harmon, our assistant manager and watercolor enthusiast, do this demonstration. Go, Madelyne!
All right.
All right, here it is.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been fun to see how these colors behave in the watercolor. It's a little bit different than some of the other watercolor demos we've been doing because they're cobalts, so they are easier to manage in a lot of ways, but they're a little lower tint strength, so you have to compensate for you could make them look, but you wind up compensating a little bit for that with a higher pigment load.
Mm-hmm.
How about if you use like a phthalo blue light or something like that?
Then, well, it depends on why your phthalo blue light is light. It could be a low pigment load.
Could be, yeah, right.
Stop.
Sorry.
Okay, we're doing cobalt today.
Today we're doing beautiful, pure cobalt.
Yes.
So
And tell the people what you're doing right now. What is that stuff?
this is hydrated Aquazol. We don't sell it like this. We sell it like this. You have a better price for water than we do. So you would mix this 50-50 by volume with water, leave it overnight, agitate it a little bit, get this lovely...
You do have to agitate it. It gets like gummy. You just got to keep stirring it. And
Yeah.
it does eventually liquefy.
Yeah.
And then that is like a concentrate.
Yeah.
That is a concentrate, yeah.
It's
That is.
exactly
That's an
what it is.
Aquazol concentrate that you then add further water to.
Yeah. Or that you dehydrate entirely in pans.
Right. You can make
And
cakes.
then you could just throw some water on top of it when you want to use it.
Yes.
So for these cobalt watercolors, I'm going to change out my normal formula and do 3 parts of the binder. I just do it by eye. I know you could use a gram scale if you want something that's really precise and scalable, but
Well, that's
it's
right
like
down. That's
cooking. You don't have
downstairs.
to.
It's downstairs.
yes, yes.
We're eyeballing today.
Today we're eyeballing. We're going to use this excellent cobalt
Yes,
turquoise.
We decided we're going to talk about the cobalt turquoise because we haven't told people about it yet. So
Oh.
this is a little teaser.
So
Yeah,
2
we
parts
just
of
made
this.
that.
Which unfortunately doesn't look as beautiful on the camera as
It
it
doesn't
does.
look anything like it in
I
photographs
know,
unless you adjust
no.
it. It's such a gorgeous color. I want
Still
people
looks,
to see
still
it.
looks pretty damn good.
It
but,
does. It does.
yeah.
Let me get it on there. But it does. You see how in this camera it doesn't pick up the greenish shade?
Yeah,
really?
no,
Yeah.
it takes out all the green. It's kind of funny that way.
Ah, well.
And then I am going to do a larger amount of dextrin than I did before. I'm doing that because,
Oh yes,
I'm getting the-
dextrin. Talk about the dextrin.
oh, yes, dextrin is starch. Here I'm using cornstarch. You could use rice starch or tapioca starch or whatever kind of starch you can get your hands on. This is the best yet. I am going to, instead of doing 1 part of this, I'm gonna make it nice and big. So starch is sometimes all the binders somebody uses, like in the Japanese woodblock prints. It's a binder in its own right. It has a matting effect on the Aquazol. If you have a little bit too much sheen in your watercolors, starch is your friend. It's also a resoluble, lovely thing.
You could also use it. You could also use it in cooking and everything too.
You can,
That's
and
multiple
it
uses.
does similar kind of stuff.
And it stops the flocculating of the pigment, which can occasionally happen.
Yeah. And
Flocculating is when the pigment separates into little clumpies. They get all magnetically charged and stuck together.
yeah.
That shouldn't happen, but
This is glycerin. It happens in watercolors because the binder's less
Oh, yeah,
weak
yeah,
than
yeah, yeah,
your
yeah.
acrylics and
yeah, this
urethane.
Aquazol is a little stronger than the gum arabic though, so you
It is.
less of an issue, right?
But it's, you add a ton of water and you got these
Yeah.
guys
All
floating
right,
around.
so before you mix, go over your proportions again.
I made 3 little circles of the Aquazol. I made 2 little circles of the the pigment dispersion. I made a pile of dextrin that is equivalent in size to about 1.5 of the pigment dispersion, and I did about a half size of the glycerin there.
Okay. And then for those folks who are new to watching our videos, dispersion is a liquid pigment concentrate. It's been ground from dry powder in our ceramic ball mill to the finest grind.
Yes.
All right.
And this is the last one that I made. It's
is.
Beautiful.
Yes. It's the
Now-
most recent extinct cobalt you made.
Mm-hmm.
When I mix these together, I always like to mix the dextrin and the glycerin and the dispersion together first before adding it to the Aquazol. I feel like my tests come out a little bit better that way. It gives these pigments something to grab.
Okay. Pigments
But
need
it's
to
more,
grabby pigments.
it's more important with something like a quinacridone or an anthraquinone, but with these guys, I still like to do it. So now that I got everybody pretty well smushed together, I'm going to mix everyone together here. And beautiful.
All
We
right.
could use it thick like this as a nice thick tempera paint if we wanted to, but we're gonna water it down instead. Aquazol's great. I just repaired a book binding with Aquazol
That's
last week. I keep finding new uses for it. It's awesome.
Yes, it's a resoluble synthetic polymer, which is wild and crazy, but it works and people love it as a watercolor medium.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
It's fantastic.
Okay, let's put this guy in the water. Now, I prefer to let this dry. I find that it wants to go on a little bit thick if you use it wet like this. This would be a great time to make gouache with this. You know, I could take some of this and mix it 50-50 with calcium carbonate while it's wet like this. But
Not today.
This is more how it's gonna look once it's dry.
Okay. Totally re-wettable.
Yeah, totally re-wettable.
So it's like you're making your own watercolor.
Yeah.
And it's so easy. And you can make big quantities of watercolor this way and save a bajillion dollars.
Yep, and you could have whatever watercolor you want, whether or not people are still making it as watercolor or not. You
True,
get to
true.
choose.
Yes.
And so, yeah, I'm just adding some water to this guy. I'm gonna throw a wash on over here. Oop.
Ooh.
It's kind of a funny angle to do this at, so it's not as beautiful as the one I traced, but we'll see. We'll see what art school taught me for making rectangles here.
Oh, right, because we're trying to sort of do another one of these live version.
Yeah.
Gotcha, yes.
And I'm just gonna throw a little splash of water down here. And did we remember a paper towel? That's the $1 million.
Yeah, I got some over here.
Awesome.
Oh, camera ripping paper towel.
Cool.
One-handed
Let's see.
while filming.
We got some nice little bleeding out here to show the undertone. And then let's just really
saturate that up there at the top.
Yeah, let's go full throttle now that we got something for it to go across.
Man, folks, I just can't tell you, the green in this is not coming through the camera. It is insane. This is
That's
an insane color.
It's a beautiful color.
Sure is.
Try to.
I'm so glad that we brought these out.
Yeah.
You know,
No, it's all good.
I love what has happened to our blue space. It's just so many good areas of color that we didn't necessarily have a single pigment offered for before. I feel like this is something that a lot of people are going to be so excited about, having these really precise gradations of hue in the blues. The blue is always like the least represented color space. It feels great to be able to really flesh that out.
We have a lot of blue.
It's a short light wave, so there isn't a lot of space. But
Yeah.
we do as much with it as we possibly can. Offer all those single pigments that we have.
So many blues. All right, so that's making one from scratch and using it right away. Let's look at how it's gonna look if we use one that we already made with our amazing resoluble colors.
Yes.
Here is the teal.
That was the second to last one that was made.
Mm-hmm.
This one, you do see the green in the camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there's so much green in that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Because you can't avoid it.
it's all green.
Yeah,
Unavoidable
It's like
green.
a
Well,
very,
it is green versus being blue.
it's greeny green. Yeah,
It's a blue shade green.
yeah.
This one's a green shade blue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's also so subtle.
Yeah.
This is just, hit you on the head with it.
Now,
It's still a beautiful color.
one thing you'll notice is this little bit of foam that can show up in Aquazol. I did get an excellent tip from one of our customers that you can actually use anti-foam in these.
Really?
I've done it. You have to use so little. I just put a little smear of it on something and I rub my finger on it and I rub my finger on here. That's how little I use, because it's got to be like the tiniest amount to not have it make your watercolors greasy, but it does work.
Minuscule. Well, that's
Anti-foam is another chemical we sell. It really was more geared for acrylics. But
But
I guess you can use it just a hair in watercolor.
It's like when I used to do photography, they would have you rub the side of your nostril for that amount of grease for touching up dust marks on your prints. And not that anybody develops
a little
photos
noise
that
oil.
way. Yeah, it's that same degree of measurement. It's kind of funny. Okay, we need a little more water here.
Again, we're using our deli pint lids, petri dish style, as our palettes because we have a lot of them.
And they work.
They work well for that.
You can label them on the side
You can
too,
label them on the side
and then stack them up.
and stack them up.
Have a big stacking watercolor palette that takes up a lot of space, but it's all recyclable.
And then you can have a whole collection of deli lid poems.
Deli lid poems.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do like Burroughs style cut-ups or something and shuffle them if you want. All right, I need more here. Kind of want to like really have it go to nothing at the bottom, so I'm just gonna do the same thing that I did before, blotting this out. No.
Just throw that water right on there.
Yeah. And sort of smoosh and smoosh. And then we'll really saturate it up here. Again, I want to stress that I'm a watercolor enthusiast. I'm sure that there are a lot of people in our audience who could do this much more efficiently, but
I think you're doing a fabulous job.
I love just looking at the colors. That's what I'm here for.
We're all definitely making some nice moody blues here.
Mm-hmm.
Moody blues, haha.
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
Alright, so this is my story about Cobalt Teal. Did you want me to do paint outs of all of these on here?
Well,
Or
maybe let's do
I
one
don't know
more.
how-
The video's getting long.
Yeah,
Long in the
right?
tooth. But
Yeah, that was getting,
Let's do one more. It is
Okay.
very relaxing. Some people like to
It's
sit
true.
around and
It's
watch
true.
paint being painted,
Yeah.
including myself.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Which color should we do as our third color?
Well, let's just go in the order here. So.
Okay.
Oh, you
Last
Cobalt.
call for manganese blue on here.
Oh, yes. You want to do manganese blue?
Yeah, let's
Do we
do
want
it.
to see manganese
Yeah,
blue?
let's do it.
I mean, the Cobalt Titanate Blue Red is a contender for like most
know.
amazing watercolor ever.
Oh, I know.
This
So
is the moment
I'm
where
tempted
that we
to do
hadn't.
that, but
Let's zoom in on. Let me get this. I'm gonna reach over here and grab this and get up and close.
But-
Okay, so we've got the Cobalt Titanate Blue Red, Cobalt Titanate Blue Green, Cobalt Titanate Blue Green Dark, Cobalt Teal, and Cobalt Turquoise.
Now let's look at the manganese blue.
Yes, let's do manganese blue.
okay, yeah, this one I did a really high pigment load for because manganese blue is many things, but it's not a super strong
It's
color.
not a strong color.
I wanted to really see it. So when I made this, I did it 1-to-1.
Okay.
That's the nice thing about making your own watercolors. I've heard from a lot of people that they've worked with manganese blue and it's been weak for them. If you choose your pigment load, you choose your own adventure.
That's
Pick your
right.
poison.
Look at this
That's what
color.
I'm always saying.
That's
Control your
manganese blue.
saturation.
That is manganese
Look at
blue.
the color on my hand here.
That's beautiful. That really is.
Yeah. Now see this one, I've got all this on here. Could probably cut it down a little bit. Okay. Got a little more water going.
Oh, it looks like is it having a little more trouble re-wetting than the other one?
No, they just take a minute.
Okay.
Whoa, spouter. No, don't do that. Okay, here we go.
Okay.
Let's start it out and see how we do.
That's manganese blue.
Yeah, it's like painting the sky.
Yeah, again, this is not, it's so much more brilliant by my eyeball than through this camera right here.
Yeah.
So folks, you'll just have to get the idea, but it's even better in person.
Well, you know, surprise. Digital cameras don't capture the beauty of subtle color.
No, they do not.
Well, blues especially, I feel like
Yeah.
there's something with the camera technology where they're like optimizing stuff to capture the sky a certain way and it just obliterates pigments. See, those bubbles, I can add a little water to get rid of them, but I could also add a little anti-foam. We'll just start with water and see if that does the job. Yeah, bubbles in anything, in your acrylic, in your watercolors, thinning it out. Thickness creates bubbles, thinning disperses bubbles.
Yep. Surface tension.
Go away, bubbles, be thinner. Look at, I made my manganese blue so concentrated,
So pretty.
I can't even fade it.
I love
Fade.
I
It's one of those colors where you like, you can't wipe it off on paper. You just want to like, look at that.
Mm.
Such beauty.
Beautiful. All right. Well, I just got your battery is low, so I'm gonna.
All right,
Okay.
you're gonna have to go then.